Today on the channel, we continue on with Jack's Class Superstars Series 10 with Mr. Perfect and Greg the Hammer Valentine.
The spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another Jack's Class Superstars unboxing and review. And today from Series 10, we've got Mr. Perfect and Greg the Hammer Valentine. But remember, for all your wrestling figure needs today, make sure you're hitting up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle to save yourself 10%. And we continue on with Series 10 of the Class Superstars, doing a little NWA, doing a little WWF, now doing the Heart Prime years of the WWF with Mr. Perfect and Greg the Hammer Valentine. And we're going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to see where it goes from there. And as you guys know, this is part of Jack's Class Superstar Tuesdays here on the channel for well over 2 years now. Every single Tuesday, some Jack's Class Superstars content, trying to keep the line alive, you might say. Without further ado, let's kick it off with Mr. Perfect first. Well, why not? Why not? There's old Mr. Perfect in his orange. Unfortunately, Classic Superstars never gave us his patented yellow singlet. We did later on get a black singlet, I believe, Series 13, I believe that was. Very similar repaint figure to this one, of course. We do get the Intercontinental title. We do get that white towel. We saw that towel reused with Mr. Perfect. We saw it with Bob Backlund. We've seen it with Taz in black. Gotta get the most out of your towels. You guys know how that goes. Mr. Perfect, good looking good there. We do get the WrestleMania ticket, as he is a part of that promotion as well. On the side, you got Mr. Perfect. Glamour shot on that side, and then on the back, you got the tail of the tape, you got the blurb, you got the Mr. Perfect, you got the cross-sell, you got the UPCs, you got the warnings, you got the ticket promotion info, all back there for old Mr. Perfect. Let's see what it says here about Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. I always tell the story whenever I'm up in Minnesota. I'm always working up there a lot, and Mr. Perfect, one of the places I have meetings at, Mr. Perfect's grave is right across the street, so always interesting to note and pay my respects to Mr. Perfect as I go by all the time. Mr. Perfect debuted 1979, 260 pounds, 6'3". Finishing move, the old Perfect Plex. Titles, AWA champion, Intercontinental champion. Favorite quote, absolutely perfect. And favorite move was the gum spit. Oh man, that gum spit. If you weren't a kid in the 80s and 90s doing the gum spit, man, were you even a kid in the 80s and 90s? We all did that gum spit. Had to do it. Had to do it. Absolutely perfect. And that was Mr. Perfect every single time. Beautiful, beautiful. Without further ado, let's get him out of the package. Let's bust him out. Can you believe this? We're doing this for science here, Mr. Perfect. Coming on out. Oh, we got some surprises here. I always love a good surprise. We get a little of that. And almost threw this without getting the tag or the ticket out of here. Oh, come on. The ticket's stuck. It's not one to come out. It wants to stay in the package forever. See you later. Bam, goodbye. Off to the races. See you later. Goodbye. Got quite the pile here. You're gonna see this if you're a Patreon supporter. You're gonna see this months ahead of time. But if you're a regular YouTube guy, it's gonna be months down the line. But I'm gonna take a picture of my pile, my mess over here from this weekend's unboxings. It's out of control. Just out of control. Indianapolis, Indiana, WrestleMania 8 right here. Never forget Ric Flair, one of his big performances at WrestleMania, I guess. This is not a ticket, as one might say. Indianapolis, Indiana, part of the ticket promotion, as we know. Now we get Mr. Perfect in a very yellowed bubble. It's funny, the plastic's yellowed on these a little. But there's old Perfect there. Got the Intercontinental title. Got the, the towel looks like it's locked in here. You got to get the scissors out. We're locked in with a little bit of string. Always interesting. Huh, okay. Yeah, whatever. Whatever works. Whatever keeps it in the package. I'm all good with it. Pull Mr. Perfect out. Bam, there it is. Off the races. See you later. Goodbye. All right, so we got the towel, the trusty old towel, and I like that it's got the little... There's that string, pull that out. It does have the little clip so you can fasten it together instead of being like Velcro or anything. It does actually plugs and play together, which I thought was really nice. But it's just a towel. You can reuse this because we know Jax did. They made it in different colors. We got bloody towels with Rocky. We saw this used a lot over the years. A good accessory. It makes some sense, especially Mr. Perfect always throwing his towel over. Then you get the Intercontinental title belt. I got to think the Intercontinental title belt is very synonymous with Mr. Perfect from the 80s, 90s time frame there. He was the Intercontinental champion. For a lot of people think the Honky Tonk Man was during a certain period of time. Mr. Perfect really put his stamp on it after the Ultimate Warrior, of course. He won that title tournament after the Warrior had to give it up, as we remember. But very good title belt. Wish it had a little color to it, but it is what it is. You know what it is. It's the Intercontinental title. Now we get down to old Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, and I believe this does look enough like Mr. Perfect to me. I don't know, you guys tell me, but if somebody handed me this head, I think I would know this is Mr. Perfect. Looks a lot like him. Like I said, I would have preferred his yellow singlet. I think that's his most iconic, and that's one we don't get in figure form as much. You guys tell me in the comments, what is his most iconic singlet? I like the yellow with the blue on the back. That is probably the most iconic to me. His blue singlet was another really, really good one. But the orange, he definitely did wear the orange, and it's got the purple. How about green? It's got the green on the back. This is a good one. This is one he wore a lot, but it's funny how the Jakks Class Superstar Series didn't give us yellow, and we've only gotten yellow in Mattel in a basic. So I think if Mattel ever does make another Elite Mr. Perfect, gotta think it's coming in the yellow. That's just, it's gotta be, right? They'll probably throw a big swerve and they'll give us the West Texas Redneck Mr. Perfect instead. Who knows? Stranger things have happened. But he does have his one of his iconic orange singlets. It's definitely iconic enough. He does have the black knee pads. Got the Mr. P on the side. I think that stands for Mr. Peterson. A lot of people think that is Mr. Perfect, but it was his tribute to young Kyle as a kid, I believe. Somebody can fact check that one as well. He does got the 4 horseman hands going on. Was that prophetic, talking about his future? And I always do say, the biggest wrestling angle of all time that really felt like it chopped myself off at the knees and really, really disappointed me was I really thought the Horseman would be back at greatness with Mr. Perfect running hard there, taking Arn's spot. Oh, I still get hot about it. I think they turned him into the NWO. I think that was a huge mistake. I think you could have had some legs with him as a Horseman. It just fit. It made sense. I was so excited, so jazzed up for that, and then just like you were just chopped off at the knees like a week later. And I just think that was one of the all-time misses in professional wrestling history. Also, taking the title off Ultimate Warrior. He should have had it forever. Put that up there, too. But good Mr. Perfect. Head side to side, up and down. A lot of movement on the head here. Arms go all the way around. Bicep cut. Single jointed elbows. You do get the hands side to side, back and forth. Always good hand movement on these guys. White wrist tape as well. Waist articulation side to side. You get the legs straight up, straight back. Single jointed knees, of course. Very tight joints, which I'm always happy to see. Ankles up and down. So that's all the articulation you get. And as I always say, really all the articulation I really needed. But a very, very good Mr. Perfect figure. Definitely a cool one to have in anybody's collection from Series 10. Now we turn our attention to one of the most boring wrestlers of all time back in the day. Even the old Playground. We talk about the old Playground on the channel here a lot. And as a kid, a lot of kids were like, you know, Greg Valentine, yeah, he's just there. He's just kind of boring, slow plotting, and slow even for 80s wrestling. There's a lot of new fans of wrestling that can't even watch 80s wrestling because it's so slow-paced compared to what they get now. Well, if you thought that was slow-paced, watch some Greg Valentine matches from back there. It's like you're in one slow-mo. It's just what it is. And that was Greg the Hammer Valentine. To me, never a top favorite of mine. My 2 favorite things Greg Valentine was ever involved in was his feud with rugged Ronnie Garvin. I absolutely loved Ronnie Garvin. I don't know why. I loved him in the NWA. I loved him in the WWF at the time. I almost said E. The whole angle with him being a referee and stuff, I don't know, as a little kid, for whatever reason, I loved it, and then I loved the Garvin Stomp. One of the most underrated finishing moves of all time, of course, also the figure 4 leg lock he would do. Randy Orton did take over the Garvin Stomp many, many years later, but as a kid, I loved it. I remember doing it to my sister many a times, giving her the old Garvin Stomp in the living room. Somebody had to. She was getting out of line. I had to put my strength down on her, so there you go. But I always liked that, and then I really did like Rhythm and Blues. I loved the Honky Tonk Man as a kid. I thought it was just great gimmick. I just loved everything about it, and I felt like it gave him a little shot in the arm when he dyed his hair black and went over to the Rhythm and Blues side. Unfortunately, we just haven't had a whole lot of Rhythm and Blues Greg Valentines. Going back to the day, Hasbro canceling that. I've talked about that many a times, looking for that thing forever and then never knowing it was actually canceled. And then Jakks did give us a Greg Valentine with black hair, Rhythm and Blues, no jumpsuit, no jacket, unfortunately, in a Classic Superstars 3-pack that was a Walmart exclusive. We will get to that eventually on the channel, so stay tuned for that one. But now, in 2022 here, Mattel Creations is giving us a retro Rhythm and Blues Greg Valentine. Cella also giving us that exact same figure. But it's time. We need a Mattel Elite Rhythm and Blues Greg Valentine. I'm talking to you, Mattel. Get that done for us. We need that here in 2023. Come on, there's no excuses. Put it in the Legends line. Let's just get this over with. Let's get it done. Let's get a Rhythm and Blues Greg Valentine. But today, we got the hearts, we got the robe, we got the mid-'80s Dream Team era. I guess we'll call it Greg the Hammer Valentine. Just think of this as the time he was getting a massage on TNT Wrestling. You remember that? His wife was giving him a massage. That's kind of the Greg Valentine we got here. He does have the WrestleMania ticket, does have the tag title. I believe that's tag title. Yep, tag team title. Where's old brother Brudai? Let's get that out there. Glamour shot there. Name on the side, of course. On the back, we got that cross sell with Dusty Rhodes up there saying hi to everybody. Just has to take all that spotlight. We got the blurb, we got the tail of tape, we got the glamour shot, we got the cross sell, we got the UPCs, we got the warning, and then we got the giveaway details down there below. So without further ado, let's read the back here. Greg the Hammer Valentine debuted in 1968. What a year, 1968. The White Album, running hard, running strong, running fast, running free like a young Lando Calrissian. Weight 243 pounds, height 6 feet tall, finishing move, figure 4 leg lock, titles WWE Intercontinental Champion, World Tag Team Champion, and Hall of Fame inductee. And Hall of Fame inductee just because of the length of his career, never a tippy top star in most areas. Of course, you know, the Carolinas, he had some runs and stuff. His dad had a big name, as we know as well. I don't know, but he is definitely a guy that we all remember from the 80s and has one of the greatest LJN figures of all time, and we'll talk about that on the channel maybe one day as well. Without further ado, let's get the old hammer out of here. Maybe I'll have to get a hammer to unbox him with. We'll see. Pull it out. Oh, there it is. We're getting there. We're going to yank that out. There goes the hammer. Don't want to forget the old WrestleMania ticket. Got to have that. I'm going to send these in and see what happens. Maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe they'll have an old Hogan laying around. Bam, see you later. Bam, see you later. There it goes. And then we're off to the races here to the side. See you later. Bam, there it is. And we got the WrestleMania ticket. WrestleMania 11, Hartford, Connecticut. Never forget. Davey Boy Smith, Bam Bam Bigelow. Oh, I forgot about The Undertaker, King Kong Bundy. What a match. What a matchup. Shawn and Diesel. Oh, and it looks like I'm in section 120, row K, seat 5. If you're by me, come say hi. But there it is. There's that ticket. And then we got the Hammer. The Hammer living his best life right here in Classic Superstars. Up till this point, probably the greatest Greg the Hammer Valentine figure of all time. You get the robe. Bam, see you later. Get the robe with him. That's always nice. And we're shedding already, of course, like a young Ric Flair, young Paul Orndorff. Beautiful robes with the Jakks figures. It's just you get glitter bombed every time you get them, which is always a little unfortunate. You just have to clean up when you're all done. But he does come with the tag team title belt. We've seen it once. We'll see it about 100 more times in this line. But it always is something cool. I guess it's an accessory at the end of the day. Then we get old Greg the Hammer, and I'm going to put him over here because he's going to start shedding all over the place. He does come in his black tights, and oh, we got some staining on the thighs. Oh, yeah, we definitely got some staining going on here. Like I said, that's an issue even today in 2022. Jazzware is being the biggest culprit as of late. Mattel even from time to time. But we got some serious staining going on the thighs here. Not much you can do about that. And really bad on some sides. Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate for sure. But it is what it is. I don't know what you do with that. But that's the robe. So I guess you're going to leave the robe on your Greg Valentine if you're opening this one up. And it'd be interesting if you've had this opened up. Let's say you got this back in 2005 when it came out. Is it all stained on yours? I'd be interested to hear that. Articulation the same as Mr. Perfect. A good head sculpt for Greg Valentine. I think most people would know this is Greg Valentine by the looks of things. The soft goods robe is great. Hearts throughout. Then you got the hammer on the back, which always kind of just looked kind of funny to me. And it still looks funny after all these years. He does got GV on the side. Great value. That's where he buys all of his food. He gets all of his Walmart great value. You know, these inflation prices, he's got to get the store brand. He's not stepping up to the major label. So he wears it fondly there on his boot, I believe. And then you got just black trunks, but he does say the Hammer on the back. So he's got a little Hammer time going on, like a young MC Hammer. It was the 80s after all, but Hammer was more 90s. But hey, it is what it is. But a good Greg the Hammer Valentine figure. And like I said, up to this point, probably the best Greg the Hammer Valentine figure we had had. So you can't complain too much about that one. For sure. And Mr. Perfect, always great to have Mr. Perfect. The more Mr. Perfect figures, the merrier, if you ask me. But I'm going to ask you, what are your thoughts on these two? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the old notification bell, and follow along on Patreon for this video much earlier. Bonus content, exclusive content, monthly giveaways, and a whole lot more. And best of all, you get to support the channel over there on the Patreon. Make sure you follow along on social media, SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson, and ProWrestlingTees.com. Search Kyle Peterson. So for Greg the Hammer Valentine and Mr. Perfect, I'm Kyle. I'll see you guys all real soon.